All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Delusional Fan with Chris Geraghty and Ryan McCloud. I'm Chris Geraghty. That is Ryan McCloud. We want to thank you for joining us again. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, remember to join us for any sort of off-show topics, on-show topics, anything you want on social media. We'll respond on Twitter. We'll respond on Facebook. Just make sure you check us out on both of those. You'll see them flash across the screen a couple times during each show.
Right.
Again, we had last week off, so if you're wondering where the show was, Ryan and I decided we thought a Cub game would be a little bit more fun than doing the show, and what do you know, the Cubs actually ended up winning, 13 innings?
Took them long enough.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, I think, fell asleep.
Jeez, I was getting there, dude. I mean, I'm almost 30 years old, and I work pretty early, so it was, I don't know. It was fun. Here's what I took from it. I would have felt bad had we left the game in the 12th inning, 11th inning, just to get a little head start, and they ended the game with some big, it wouldn't have been a walk-off, but a 3-run shot or something like that. The fact that we waited for 13 innings and it was a walk-in run to win the game, it was just stupid. I would have gladly left before that to catch that on the news the next day, to be honest.
Yeah, but that inning with the way that the bases were loaded, no outs, and
how they
Travis
did it,
got out of
yes,
it.
that was
exciting.
super cool how they changed the defense around and all that. But yeah, that's why we were off. Hope you didn't miss us too much, right?
Yeah, but you got a full show coming this week. A lot of good stuff we're going to talk about. We also had some great top 5 ideas, which we actually took one from our fans this week that we're going to go over a little bit later in the show. Our first segment tonight is something that just happened actually yesterday. So for the viewers, it'll actually be just happened on Tuesday. And I wanted to bring this up to Ryan, to everybody else. Get your thoughts. This is something I hope generates a lot of buzz because I feel pretty strongly about it. It's the Under Armour deal that just happened with UCLA.
Yep.
And I wanted to bring up a few deals that I've got here. So the one that happened on Tuesday is Under Armour signed a deal with UCLA, announced exclusive shoe and apparel deal for $280 million in 15 years. Ohio State signed one with Nike, $252 million.
Hey, they lowballed them.
Yeah, just $200. $252 million
Sure.
for 15 years. University of Texas signed one with Nike, $250 million.
Get that money.
For 15 years.
Yeah.
University of Michigan signed with Nike, $169 million for 11 years. And Notre Dame got the cheap end of the stick, only $90 million for 10 years. Which actually, when you average it out, is
better than the
$252
from Ohio State.
So, a couple things I wanted this to bring up. Now, what drove me nuts about this is I know that the student athletes are not going to see a dime of that money.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I've always been of the proponent. I think the athletes should be able to make money off their name, their likeness, their jerseys.
Sure.
The schools are anyways. I know that there's pretty strong proponents on both sides of that. What are your thoughts, on the Under Armour deal, the other deals that have happened, student athletes getting paid, not getting paid? What do you think about those?
Well, it's kind of a heavy question. It's kind of a there's a lot that goes into this topic. It's not. You're obviously for them getting paid. How is that? Let me ask you something. How is them not getting paid affecting you?
Doesn't affect me at all.
Not one bit, right?
There's a lot of things in this world that don't affect me that I still feel strongly.
You feel morally about it, right?
Well, yeah.
So my point is this:
Here, before you go,
yeah.
I wanted to bring this up.
Yeah.
One of our fans, Kyle.
Because look, it's not that I don't feel for the players. I'll get into how I feel about how they are and what they should, how they should be approaching this thing. But
I put it up on the Delusional Fan Facebook page. I want to know what people thought about it.
Right.
And one of our fans, Kyle, Kyle Henrikin, said, "It is socially accepted racism." Now, you laugh because I'm assuming you think that's just too harsh.
I think Kyle has some strong opinions,
but I have another guy who James Thornton didn't come out and flatly say that, but I know he believes that.
Okay.
So And that's because obviously the highest percentage of especially in the football programs, are not white students.
Okay. So I'll say my piece then. Let's not act like they're not getting anything. Okay.
What are they getting?
They're getting, and before you start saying that's bullshit or it doesn't count. They're getting free tuition to a university to get an education. I understand that there's a lot more that goes to it these days, and that these athletes, a lot of them, for the most part, whether it's right or wrong, or dumb or not, think that they're going to be going to a professional sports league.
Can I make a counterpoint to your first point?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're right. They get free tuition to go to class and go to school, right?
Yeah.
Now, what you said is a lot of these guys think they're going to go to be professional in the sport.
Yeah, it's like 2% that
most are not, correct?
Like 2 or 3% that actually do.
I was reading an article in Forbes.
Okay.
The typical Division I college football player devotes 43.3 hours a week to his sport.
Yes.
Which is 3.3 more hours than most average Americans do at their job.
Sure.
Not in school.
Okay.
So you tell me, you're given this scholarship, you're supposed to be going to school, but you got to spend more than 40 hours at your sport.
I think it's funny, and I think it's comical that the majority of players, the ones that go into these universities and play sports for them, know that they're not playing a professional sport. So they go to their classes, they take their classes, they find time, they manage, and guess what? They end up being better for it. They were put to the test. They were pushed to the limit, and they somehow succeeded. And they're the ones who take their education and roll with it. And by the way, they're thankful and happy that they got to go play a sport for 4 years and get praise and get treated, and by the way, get free drinks and free meals and free rooms and all the shit that they want. It's a joke to me. This stuff is a joke to me. They get college tuition. We're talking of, you're going to experience this in 20 years or so with your daughter. I'm sorry, but you will. You're going to, and hopefully she has athletic talent and she can get a free tuition, so you don't have to worry about that burden of paying for a college
other
tuition.
Burdens, especially for all these kids. What about food? What about lodging? They only get a stipend, a very, very small stipend per month.
You're right. And so thank God they're getting a free tuition, so their parents can maybe help them afford rent and food. Thank God they're getting $100,000 off for the next 4 years. My God, what a burden that would be. Okay, it's a joke to me.
You're obviously against them getting money from any
I think it's a crock of shit.
Can they earn money on their own? Using their own likenesses.
So this is where I'm not contradicting. I'm saying yes, I think they should be able to sign autographs and sign helmets and sign that stuff and be able to make some extra cash for it. I don't have a problem with that. Mm-hmm. I think that absolutely should go to them. But when you want to talk about money going to the university for them signing a Nike deal so they can wear cool jerseys on Saturdays and Sundays, get out of here. Just stop. That's the reason you're going to the school. And by the way, this is something I saw on I think it was E60, but I pulled up the article. It's actually, I'm not familiar with the site, but there is a real study here, okay? I'm dead serious. I'll pull up the study if you want. But the report found that expenses exceeded revenue at all but 20 schools in the football bowl subdivision. The average loss among Power 5 conferences was $2.3 million, and at all other FBS schools, it was $17.6 million. Schools are losing money trying to keep up building stadiums and paying for uniforms and all of these things. On average, they're losing $2.3 million. No, the players shouldn't get paid. They're already getting free tuition. They're already getting free handouts. More than the average Joe.
Now, here's where you're wrong.
Okay.
If you don't give them more money in their stipend, I'm taking your view, but yet allow them to earn money using their likeness and their autograph, that opens up a whole different set of can of worms of people saying, hey, I'm going to need you to do this for me. You're now under contract for me to do all this.
Yeah.
Maybe you should not score a touchdown this game. Maybe they're letting players.
Sure.
Well, they're letting players out there on their own. Wouldn't you rather cut that off and just give them more money instead of letting them maybe go out into the real world while they're still in school and get in trouble that way? Wouldn't it be easier just to give them maybe a little bit more money to stay where they are?
I think giving student athletes, and trust me, I know I obviously have a strong opinion about it. I understand where they're coming from. For a handful of schools, like you said, Ohio State and these schools, by the way, UCLA just signed that. They're not in the top 20 of revenue generating schools. They barely make money.
Alabama made $143.3 million.
There you go. And again, I get that. That's stupid.
More than most NBA teams.
Right, that's stupid. That is. That's crazy. And there's a lot of money, and there's a lot of money to go around. I think you're setting a dangerous precedent giving student athletes money. Chris, how do you decipher what to give each athlete? How do you decipher what each sport gets? Because I can promise you, if they give it to college football, they have to give it to every other sport. They have to. They have to make this kind of an equal playing field. We're going to pay our student athletes. So does it go off the revenue generated from football? Then, okay, we generated this much money, then you get this much money. That would make sense. But most football programs are losing $2.3 million per year to keep up with Alabama and Ohio State. It's impossible. I think you're setting. And then who's to say 10, 15 years from now, when players start demanding more money, and it's just going to increase, it's going to turn into a salary cap. What's the difference between pro football and college football? I don't like it. I don't want it. I think they should get over it. And here's the last thing. I can't remember whether it was Dan Patrick or Colin Cowherd. This is years ago. This stuck with me. I think it was Colin Cowherd. I know I bring him up a lot, but he's my dude. And he said, when my kid is old enough to go to college, because the rhetoric is you're abusing the kids. You're taking advantage of these student athletes, right?
Well,
no, this is what he said.
They're profiting.
This is what he said. And this was when Andrew Luck was coming out of college, and he was like, just referencing him, he's like, if you want to take my kid and send him to Palo Alto for 4 years, one of the most beautiful towns in America, for 4 years, free, and give him one of the best educations from the most intelligent minds out there. If that's taking advantage of my kid, take advantage of him. But take advantage of them all you want.
I'd agree with you if it ended there. But what about the 40-plus hour a week responsibility you have to spend to your sport?
Again, I think...
And if you don't spend it to your sport, you lose that free ride to that school.
Right. I think there's...
They're employees. They're not athletes. They're not student athletes. They're employees.
No, but again, Chris, it's not... So the guy like me or like my brothers and sister who went to school and worked jobs, whether it's 40 hours or 30 hours, they worked jobs while they did this thing. That's their job. By the way, they're getting a free ride. That's the difference. You're getting $25,000 to $30,000 off every single year. I need you 40 extra hours every week for your season. It's not every day. People make it seem like they've been picked out of their beds and taken to this university and demanded and forced to play football. You have to go to minicamp. You have to grind. You have to put in the time. And I'm not going to pay you anything. And you're not going to get anything out of this. That's the mistake that people make. The majority of the kids who go to these schools and think that they're going to go pro end up blowing it for themselves because they don't pay attention in school. And then I should have gotten something for playing. They make so much money. No, you got it already. You got an education. You chose not to go to class. You chose to take those fake classes because I guarantee that's another conversation, right? Because that's actually the real problem for me is the fake classes and the gimme classes that these student athletes get to get by.
Academics
right?
need to be cleaned.
Right. So that's the real problem because again, the majority of the kids, the majority of the kids that go and don't expect to go pro take advantage and take their education seriously. And I'm not sitting up here on this pedestal. I didn't finish college. I'm not like that. I should have. And if I had a free ride, maybe I would have. It's crazy to me. But go ahead.
See, now, I'm a little bit more basic.
Sorry, I'm heated.
I'm a little bit more basic with you on this. We can go back to a guy like Johnny Manziel, for instance, who I can't stand, but I'll bring up a good point with him. Texas A&M was selling Johnny football T-shirts, Johnny football jerseys. It would say football,
And again, I think their likeness, you're right. That I might agree with, and I don't even understand.
But that's more where the argument comes in my opinion.
Okay.
Because you talk, remember guys like Braxton Miller and those guys from Ohio
jersey
State
sales, yeah,
that was selling their pin or selling their jersey, and not even selling, they were exchanging for tattoos or rental cars or things like that.
Yeah.
Like again, it's their stuff, their equipment, their likeness, their name, their popularity, their hard work they put in. That's where that money's coming from. Why would guys like that get suspended?
The likeness thing is a weird issue for me. It just when it comes down to like profit sharing and we should get paid because the universities are making so much money off of. And again, when it comes to jersey sales and things like that, it's a weird area for me. That's a gray area for me. This demand that we should get paid, I think is a scary precedent, and I think they are already being given a whole lot that people lose sight of. That's it, man.
Okay. I disagree, not on all points, but some of the points. I think in deals like with the Under Armour where there's $280 million and you're selling these kids, you're going to be wearing this stuff. You're advertising for Under Armour, but we're not going to give you anything for it. But you're going to be wearing. You have to wear the stuff. You can't wear a Nike UCLA jersey.
Right.
You can't wear a Nike UCLA shirt. It has to be Under Armour.
But there's always that recruit who goes, "Damn, those uniforms are sick. I didn't even hear about your $280 million deal. I'm going to come play for you guys."
I think players should make money off their likenesses. Anytime.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the school sells a jersey and hands a player $80. I mean, set up trusts.
Well,
Let's say Manziel sold $1 million in jerseys.
Yes.
Why don't you set up a post-college trust for him?
Dude, that's actually, I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. Now, Manziel doesn't need it.
No, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. I actually like that idea.
This is a good topic. I have a feeling we're going to come back to this. Because more and more of this, especially as the college football system gets underway.
The biggest thing for me, I swear, that is it, though, is that everybody likes to take into account the big schools, the guys that are getting all these big contracts from Nike and Under Armour. Most schools are losing money.
But add that up, 280, 250, 250, 169, $90 million. It's a lot of money.
It's a whole lot of money. Most schools aren't getting that. Most schools are losing money every year.
So why wouldn't the NCAA say, instead of giving UCLA $280 million, why don't you give 20 schools $30 million all to wear your
That would be awesome. That would be cool.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
We're going to come back to this. This is a good topic. We want to hear about this from you guys on our social media. I already have the topic up. Feel free to post under it.
And I want to know, I don't know a lot of professional athletes, besides the one I met this weekend. Mm-hmm. But
a bear.
It was a bear. Cool dude. But I want to know if anybody who's played college sports, do you feel like you were slighted? Do you feel like you were taken advantage of, that you got this terrific education and adoration every week that you played football and all this other free stuff?
Let us know. We're gonna bring this topic back a few times. When we come back, we're gonna talk about Major League umpires and why they're no longer needed in the game. At least in my opinion, I think they're the worst in professional sports. So we'll be right back.